I don't know. How do you see it?
So I know my brother-in-law, Clint Depew, listens to this podcast every week. He's a loyal listener. And at times he's driving around, he's running his kids around. So Clint, if you're driving around right now with your son, my nephew Bruce, just turn it off real quick. Put on some music. One Mississippi, two Mississippi. Okay. You know, you know what that game was to me, Bob? It was like finding out there's no Santa Claus. That's what it was. That's what it was. There's no Santa. We all remember where we were, right? Um, man, I was with you all the way every week. I think I was even on the bandwagon maybe not a month, but a few weeks before you when it came to Sam
Yeah,
Darnold.
I think so.
The moxie, the staring down a blitz, knowing you're going to get hit, not giving a shit that you're going to get hit, delivering the ball to Justin Jefferson on that dig route, in sync with Kevin O'Connell. 14 wins. I mean, really, as late as that Green Bay game, let's pull it up. It was December 29th. As late as then, he completed 77% of his passes for 377 yards, three touchdowns. They're dousing him with whatever that was. I don't know, champagne, beer, water, and the locker. They're hoisting him up on his shoulders. That was a little odd, right? I mean, to kind of celebrate to that extreme, little much,
Yeah,
probably, little much. But at that moment, it's like, no doubt about it. He is your guy. You pay him. They love him. He is perfect for this offense. And then he goes 18 of 41 against Detroit with a chance to be the number one seed. And then he gets sacked nine times, throws the pick, 25 of 40. You know what's crazy? Watching that game live, we talked about it a little bit in the chat during the game. You could tell that the moment was too big for Sam Darnold immediately, right away. Even on completions, he completed a deep ball to Justin Jefferson early in that game. And even then, he just seemed a little skittish, like a little patting the ball. He's there. I got to get it to him. Okay, I'm going to force. Like, just, it was harder. Like, the bigger the moment, the more he shrunk. That's troublesome. That is a red flag. And Kevin O'Connell sees that red flag. The way he talked about Sam Darnold after the game, immediately after the game, it was like past tense. It almost felt like kind of a goodbye. It might be a little extreme. It felt like he was talking about a quarterback who just played his last game as a Minnesota Vikings starter. I'm probably reading into it too much, but that's what it felt like. Uh, I wouldn't blame them. I, we've got to judge these games on a different on a curve. Like how you perform with the number one seed on the line matters a hell of a lot more than throwing for five touchdowns against the Atlanta Falcons. Matters a hell of a lot more than beating the Jets out there in London or Green Bay. Like I wouldn't. It's going to be like a 180 out of us, right? Like we've been. You got to pay Sam Darnold whatever he wants. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Is there a middle ground? Like, do you franchise tag him? Do you try to have the best of all worlds? I guess you have to explore that minimum.
so Tyler, he cost himself many, many millions of dollars here, either from the Vikes or somebody else, right? So, but there's, it's apparently a bad quarterback draft. I don't know that now. Um, McCarthy, 27-1 at Michigan, handed the ball off basically for two years. He's 6'2" and a
You know,
half.
you watched every snap.
Yeah, I think they're moving on unless they can get him really cheap. Uh, who knows? I mean, Daniel Jones might get a starting job somewhere too. He's not locked into being here. Nick Mullins is not the guy. So maybe they just sign somebody else and go with McCarthy. Then the Lions are really going to dominate the division, aren't they?
I mean, all right, he went 14-3. He threw for 4,319 yards. He averaged 7.9 yards per attempt, 35 touchdowns, 12 picks. There is a team out there for the reasons you just said. Shadir Sanders, Cam Ward, we'll get into the draft in due time. Free agents, no good quarterbacks really get to free agency. Trades, maybe there's something creative a team comes up with. He'll have a market, Bob. Like supply demand. That's America, baby. Like there will be a team out there willing to spend money for Sam Darnold, and it won't be the Minnesota Vikings. Like, somebody will pay him. I think like before these two games, there could have been a middle ground where the Vikings with Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, Kevin O'Connell sit down with Sam Darnold and they can say like say they get into the playoffs, they win a game, they lose valiantly, he plays hard. It's not 9 sacks, it's not a disaster. There is a scenario where you are able to kind of convince Sam Darnold like this is the best situation for you. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. We're getting Christian Darrisaw back. We've got Brian O'Neill. Like we've got this defense with Brian Flores. Like this is a contender. This is where you should be. Take a little less. And I think that Sam Darnold probably would have taken a little less. There'd be a more of an effort from Minnesota's side to get something done. And maybe Sam Darnold's a little more willing to meet in the middle. I don't know. Maybe he's like Kirk Cousins. Maybe he didn't give a damn. And he's just gonna maximize his value. As everybody has a right to do. But I feel like there would have been this middle ground. Now, I don't know if that olive branch is happening with the Minnesota Vikings. I think you're right. I think it's JJ McCarthy. It's remembering why you drafted JJ McCarthy. You're back to that place. Because also, let's remember the Vikings now, they've won 27 games. You know, book ended around one bad year, but like 27 games in 2 seasons and you don't win a playoff game, that's kind of crazy, really. You win 13 games one year and you lose to Daniel Jones and the Giants. You win 14 games another year and you lose to the Rams. What did we start this podcast with? Like these kind of losses have consequences. Like they're going to do something big. That something big may be just ripping the Band-Aid off, moving forward with JJ McCarthy. And I can't believe I'm saying that after everything we've said about Sam Darnold all season long.
So